Hello, we're going to talk about today about a lot of misconceptions on the phone calls we get as far as pulling a code on a vehicle and diagnosing a code on a vehicle. And it's two separate things, and typically on our case we don't charge anything to pull a code, but typically there's a charge on diagnosing the code. And it's two separate things, and a lot of people misunderstand what that means. Is when you pull a code, it'll give you a number of what the code stands for. And another thing, it's to go in with that number to find exactly what the problem is. That's the main important thing. And typically it takes a lot of time sometimes, and then for the most part there's usually a charge for that. And the code, whatever code it is, it could possibly be, it could be a half a dozen things that will cause it one certain code. And that's the reason why it's important to understand the difference in pulling a code, getting the number, and also diagnosing the code. And here we're going to pull the code on this vehicle here. You can see we've got this hooked up to the OBD2 connector. We've got the scanner in place, and what we do is we look for the code. And like I remind you again that when we pull a code on a vehicle, we can get the number of what the code is. And this number, this problem with this vehicle, the code could be a certain number, but it could cause, there again, like I was saying, there could be a half a dozen things that will cause us one certain code. So what we do, we go in to do our diagnosis, we go in here to look at the code, and then, like for an example, this vehicle here has a code of a PO171, which is the system's running too lean. Well, whenever a system's running too lean, that can mean several things. Number one, it could be an oxygen sensor. Number two, it could be a thermostat problem. Number three, it could be a vacuum problem. Number four, it could be a fuel regulator problem. And to go on and on and on, just remember, whenever you pull a code on a vehicle, doesn't mean exactly what the code brings up or what the problem could be. Actually, it could be a half a dozen things, like I say. So that is the reason why whenever we pull a code, there's a difference in pulling a code and doing diagnostics on it.